weird angle today. Today we're going to be talking about Mao Tsetung on guerrilla warfare. Okay, this is going to be part of the series of getting reading 1,000 books before I die. That will nonfiction books in particular, which would probably never happen. But before I even started this challenge, I didn't even have one book finished. So I think so far I'm like 8 or 9 books in. Well, maybe even less, but still, I'm reading more than what I would have ever thought I would have been doing. I would have been reading. So, anyways, let's get on to this book. So I have a couple notes on it. There's a couple ideas that I liked about this book, and there's a couple ideas that I didn't like about this book, which I don't think I highlighted them. But I will say, in the beginning, in the middle, the good was good. The guy was talking about tactics. The guy was talking about like why the tactics were necessary right then and then. And then it talked about the structure and how it should be structured, and then that's where it lost me because it just got boring. But guerrillas fight only when the chances of victories are weighted heavily in their favor, which is, a lot of guerrillas, and by guerrillas, I mean guerrilla warfare fighters. I'm going to be using the term guerrillas to mean that, unless I specifically talk about the animal, I don't know. But, people who are guerrilla fighters really only fight when it's like in their favor, right? They do hit and run tactics, they do whatnot, and that's like when the only time they'll ever fight. Because if you tell someone, oh, hey, you're going to die, so just go attack, you're going to not have the best fighters. In guerrilla warfare, select the tactics of seeming to come from the east and attacking from the west. Avoid the solid, attack the hollow, attack, withdraw, deliver a lightning blow, seek a lightning decision. So that type of like a paragraph should, or that I think structure, a few sentences should, or actually is one. It's actually technically one sentence. Should kind of be studied, only because it's like, when you're attacking someone, they should think that they're getting attacked on the opposite side that you're attacking. And, you shouldn't fight a rock-solid defensive unit. You want to attack a unit that's not so tough. It's hollow on the inside. You must, then, when you attack, and after you're done with your attack, withdraw. It should be fast. And your decision should be very fast. The second type of guerrilla warfare directly contradicts the law of historical development. I just thought that was like a really interesting line, because there are 2 types of guerrilla warfare, and the second type that he talked about was contradictory to historical development. I don't know why I bookmarked this. I bookmarked this because it talks about the 4 points of warfare, and I just thought they were good. So, for example, the 4 points must be considering under the subject of organization for guerrilla warfare. How are guerrilla bands formed? How are guerrilla bands organized? What are the methods of arming guerrilla bands? And what elements constitute a guerrilla band? I especially wanted to focus on the third one because, how do you arm guerrilla bands? Formations of guerrillas. In America, it's somewhat easy because, we have a bunch of bang-bangs everywhere. Even your grandpa has, a shotgun, Even the most liberal family, has, maybe 1 or 2 grandpas. Actually, I have 1 or 2 grandpas. Has 1 or 2 older people, like grandpas and uncles, that has firearms. But it's you got to think about that, how you got to organize your guerrilla units. Let's go over a few more. Many people think it is impossible for guerrillas to exist for long enemy's rear. Such belief lacks of comprehension of the relationship that exists between the people and the troops. You know, guerrilla units, the good thing about them is guerrilla units can like kind of blend in civilization. So, the idea of guerrillas aren't in the enemy's rear for a long time is lacking in belief, because guerrilla warfare units can be anywhere and everywhere. All they have to do is hide their firearms and just go about in their daily life, and they're a civilian. And the last one is, no military leader is endowed by heaven with the ability to seize the initiative. It is the intelligent leader who does so after a careful study and estimation of the situation and arrangement of the military and political factors involved. I kind of agree with this, because even during looking at some of my studies of the warfare with religious people versus other religious people, is the Christian people, they kind of had to like look at the situation and be like, okay, yeah, we understand the situation. So God gave them the intellect of knowing the information in a way that they could understand it, which I find really interesting. Like I said, this book got really boring at the end, and I don't know about you, but I'm one of the types of people who think the ending is paramount, in the fact of like, you could have a 10 out of 10 show. Let's just use this for an example, okay? Not me personally, but a lot of people like Game of Thrones. I think season 8 was one of the live action. It was so horrible. Like, people, like, whenever they think about Game of Thrones, season 8 is always brought up. The last season was so bad, the ending was so bad, that it left a very bad taste in people's mouth. Mao Tse-tung's book on guerrilla warfare, I would say I gave it a 6 out of 10, because the ending was very boring, that it took me kind of weeks to finish it, because it was just that boring. My Kindle said I had like 8 or 10 minutes to finish the book, and I was like, this book is literally so boring. I'm like, even if it's like I just woke up, not just woke up, but if I have been awake for 3 hours, right, and I had like a 5-hour energy drink, I started reading the book, I actually got tired. I was not wanting to finish the book, but I finished the book, and I said, hey, there we go. So it was entertaining, at least, and it kind of helped me with my studies, which is the reason why I read it. It kind of helped with my studies, but I'm going to have to read definitely a lot more books on guerrilla units in general before I make a book about it, because this is not the best, let's say, resource out there.